Hey.
What's up?
Hello.
Well, my name is Kayla Simone. I'm a freshman biology major from Chicago, Illinois.
My name is Alexis, and I am a freshman journalism major from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. But now I live in Baltimore, so, that's
My name is Talia. I'm a freshman 5-year MBA Leadership Studies minor from Chicago.
Yeah, and this is theU.G.L.Y. U.G.L.Y, but it's not like that. Ugly actually stands for the underground language of the youth. And
yes,
our goal here is to speak truth. And so whether it's good, bad, like we're gonna tell it.
The good,
the bad,
and the ugly.
We speak truth. That's the whole thing. And we're gonna talk about the things that matter to us and should matter in life and are important. And it affects our daily life anyway. So somebody has to talk about it. Somebody has to, bring it up. And so that's what we're gonna do.
I'm talking directly to the youth too.
Yeah, because we're young and we realized that we didn't have an outlet or a mutual person to have this conversation with
until we found each other.
So
now we're sharing a conversation.
Yeah,
this is for you. So are we gonna get into it? Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
First topic.
Colorism.
Y'all ready for this?
Light skin, dark skin.
Right.
Nice.
Yellow bone, red bone. That's a thing too, right?
Yeah. What's the difference?
I don't really know.
Well, from Urban Dictionary, a yellow bone is somebody who is naturally light skinned like you.
Mm-hmm.
While a red bone, is somebody who's who's mixed, and they're light skinned because they're mixed.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because people have called me red bone because I'm compared to my cousin.
But I'm redder than you.
But I'm redder than her.
Not common knowledge.
It's very weird.
No, it's not.
But
it's
whole
new.
point is it's stupid.
Looking at how that manifests right now for everybody, for us. We see the hashtags on Twitter. That's
Team
a big
light
thing.
skin.
Team dark skin.
Yellow bone.
Red bone.
People's at names light skin beauty,
brown skin honey.
Everything has something to do with
mocha goddess.
As if that's some type of indicator of your personality or what you're about, and
or
it's
your
not.
Because there's a whole Twitter that says things light skin girls do, they don't text back.
Right.
And
I'm light skinned. You light skinned. Do you text back?
I text back.
I text back too.
I'm a fan of communication. Let's get talking.
You already said,
I don't know. And then and light skin, they say that light skin dudes are soft and that dark skin dudes are really reckless and savage.
Right.
And there's so much of that embedded in our culture.
What's the in between considered?
Brown skin.
What's their stereotype? Telling you, let me know. You brown skin.
We're queens.
Oh.
So there we go, right there.
All right.
That's a product of the brainwashing.
But really,
effect.
to be honest, it depends on who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because to some extent, we really just don't get any consideration, which has its positives and its negatives. If I don't have to be a part of the discussion, that's even better. Less on my plate to worry about, too less to be stressed.
Right.
But at the same time, some people will consider me dark skinned, and then I'm thrown into those negative categories.
Mm-hmm.
Black skin girls don't have no good hair.
Yeah.
We are ugly. We're more ferocious looking. I don't understand that.
I don't understand. And it also I think the reason that there are less distinction between shades, it kind of goes into the whole paper bag test. It was only either you passed or you failed.
Right.
So there wasn't you're in between. It was if
right.
you pass or you fail. So that might be a reason that there's not, the distinction is not always recognized, but it's the effects are definitely visible of the whole distinction, because there are 2 documentaries that just came out, Light Girls and Dark Girls.
Right.
And the fact that there needs to be something like that discusses it shows that the problem still exists, and it's not gone yet.
Right.
And it's not. Yeah.
And what's interesting about that is if you watch for light girls, and then compared to dark girls, they both said they wanted to be like each other. Light skin girls want to get darker, and then the dark skin women bleach their skin so they can get lighter.
Yeah.
So do they want to be the in between? That's why I asked.
I think it's designed to always making you feel like you're not enough.
Exactly.
Because me being light skinned, I don't like it. Don't like the classification. Just because it makes me feel weird. It makes me because of all of the negative, the connotations, like we're stuck up. Yeah, and I don't like that box. And so like, I used to like wait for summer to get like a little darker and stuff. And so I've seen those implications. And it's just like, whatever you are, the need to be comfortable in who you are is what's most important. But it's very difficult because there are systemic things that constantly are pushing this this idea that you're not enough, whatever it is.
Because when you look at the implications of that, it's like you're spending so much time focusing on how to be something that you're not focusing on embracing yourself and bettering yourself and taking those steps that you need to do to advance not only yourself but your entire collective community.
Right.
It's a distraction.
Yeah. And we're so focused on, how we look than, who we are as a person.
Right.
And then we also try to make ourselves or who we are as a person to, how we look instead of making how we look who we are.
Exactly. Like, it's a reversal.
Exactly.
It's like stuff. Maybe when I'm this enough, then then magically your life is supposed to be better.
Right. But you're still gonna be you regardless of what your skin is.
I think too many times people just take it as a lighthearted joke, and it's something that you're bombarded with on a daily basis, and that's not the case. It definitely influences who you are. You're either trying to defy against what those stereotypes are, or you're feeding into them. And either way, you're not being who you are, and you're not focused on what's important.
Right. And like you were saying, people take it as a lighthearted joke when the implication and the history of it and like where it comes from and how it continues to affect society is way deeper than that. Exactly. It's not lighthearted. Like the reality is, the truth of it is, it's not lighthearted. It's not funny. It's not a compliment. It's systemically you are continually oppressing yourself.
You're perpetuating the oppression. You've historically been oppressed, and now you're perpetuating that oppression upon your own people.
Right.
Yourself, basically.
Right. And I think that in order to have that conversation, like we are continuing this oppression, it came from somewhere.
Right. So
and
we can take a look at the origins.
Yes, the origins of colorism. And how because I don't think that in Africa they just woke up one day and said, you know what, I like that color better, and so now you're gonna like.
But you know what's funny?
What's funny?
In Africa, you know how they enslaved, there were slaves in Africa before we even became slaves.
Right.
That's how we became slaves, because they traded us off.
And different kind of slaves, so don't.
Exactly. Right, yeah, don't get it confused. They did a little
like
different.
Indentured servitude.
Right.
They still had rights.
Right. Over here they were tripping.
Exactly.
They
were human beings.
Right. But in Africa, a lot of the tribes were based off of like how you looked as well. Like if your nose was too big, if your lips were, not nose too big or maybe too small, or your lips were too small, or if you're fair skinned.
If you didn't embody the more dominant traits of the tribe,
right,
per se.
But the whole idea of wanting to be lighter and brighter and all those things, it's a result of imperialism.
Because it didn't originate in the origins of civilization, which is Africa. Just want to throw that in there.
Truth. Because I learned about it in history, like in my history class last semester, but I knew this before. But in imperialism, they went in order to justify imperialism, because if somebody is just coming into my area and they're just gonna impose themselves upon me, I can't talk on my hands. See?
No, I'm imposing myself on you.
Oh. that was not understood. But so I was like, I've been talking on my hands for 8 minutes. Sorry. If someone imposes themselves upon your society or your culture, you're not like, who was gonna just take that lightly? So it had to be something systemic.
You did.
I didn't understand what was going on. Maybe they didn't understand what was going on, and the thing that they did, it was a civilizing mission. And so the idea was anybody that was not white and European were barbarians, and that's why they were going into these countries and these places, and they were civilizing and making people better
and also not Christian. You have to throw that in there, because they were going into these places, they had never heard anything of Christianity, and saying, "Are you Christian?" Well, no, of course not. But do you recognize the principles of Christianity? Yes, we do, and that's a different discussion. I'm sorry, I just had to throw that in. So Africans couldn't be Christian.
So
it's funny though that you said that, because if you notice, the African American culture is based literally centered around Christianity, baptism, Baptist, and
not only the African American community, but when you look at the Hispanic American community, the Latino community, very heavy Catholic influences.
So they really imposed the religion on us as well.
Right.
And what does that mean to?
Well, that's a different discussion.
That is a different discussion.
Next time, it's not a different discussion.
But how does that
because
okay, go ahead.
They got us to worship an image of a white.
Right. Yep. That's true. That's true.
This how it was,
because in order for it to be effective, it had to almost be religious. You know what I mean?
It had to affect every single aspect of normal life.
Because sugar is not originally white. Flour, not originally white. Bread,
rice,
not originally white.
Not originally white. I remember we were talking about this yesterday when, the implications of eating too much white bread or too much white sugar. It's all fine. It messes up your insides. It, deteriorates, or you get worms, and it makes you sick, and you get high blood pressure and cholesterol, all those things. So the implications of it's taking on something that doesn't belong to you. That's
exactly
the problem. And so because it's not saying that white is bad, but when
it's not natural for me.
It's not natural for me. So if I am then trying to take on the characteristics and the likelihood, I am never going to love myself, and I'm never going to feel like enough, and that is killing me on the inside. Like white bread. I mean, I eat white bread, but it's bad for me, and I don't eat white bread. Well, I'm growing every day.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
You're learning now.
Learning.
So we can kind of reroute this to understand here that white was placed at the top of the hierarchy as far as color went, and black was at the bottom. And over time, you have the intermingling and these interrelationships occurring, and different colors come out of that, and that's how you get the rest of the spectrum.
So the closer you were to white, the closer you were to being good and not bad, or smarter, prettier, more ability.
They set up the system for a white male to be here and a black woman to be here. But the way that I see it, I feel like it should be switched. And I think that African American women, and maybe I'm biased,
African American black women.
Thank you. Not African American, black women of color.
We gave birth to civilization.
Yes, we did.
To the human race.
Black women. Women of color. We're more powerful than we think we are, and I think it needs to be acknowledged.
We're more powerful than we've allowed ourselves to be trained to believe.
Right.
That's an innate power that every black woman has.
Right. And I think that the necessity and the almost something to take away from this conversation is, at the end of the day, you have to be true to who you are, because that is when the real power comes out. If I spend my life trying to be everything but me, I am wasting my life, because there is something that I give, and there's a power that I have that is unique to me. And I think that as a culture, and not only black people, because it doesn't only affect black people, because imperialism didn't only happen to black people.
Correct.
It happens to all those other cultures. And so when we get to the point where we can be realize you dope how you are, and there's no need to, whether you are light, whether you are dark, and wherever you fall in between that, there's so much power in who you are. Stop smiling at me, because you're making me nervous.
And the power comes from realizing that the fact that you've been focused on these things that don't matter for so long have enslaved you.
Yes.
It's a freeing sense. It's a mentally freeing experience that occurs when you realize that what's most important is embracing who you are and what you have to contribute to society.
Yes. And you said something that reminded me of a quote that we use the three of us
Yes.
all the time.
Yes, say it.
None are more hopelessly enslaved than those who believe that they are free. So that's like the ugly truth. That's what we're doing. We're trying, because we have come into things that have made us realize that there was a point when we were in bondage.
We've come into consciousness.
And and Toni Morrison has a quote as well. It says, the purpose of freedom is to free someone else. So if I'm just free by myself, like, that's dumb. Right. My freedom is supposed to translate to you guys and to other people. So that is what the ugly truth, that is what our goal is. And that is what we hope you get out of this conversation. We hope that you, because we don't think we have the answers. We know we don't. We're 18 years old. We know we don't have the answers. But we have lots of questions.
And we want to speculate with you all.
Yes, and help you find your own answers. Because there are too many places that are not telling you the truth. There's so much that is only giving you
so much
one view, and like a very limited view at that.
Right.
So, here, you're gonna get some truth. And it's gonna be like, whoa. Because that's what happened when I met them. I was like, because I thought I had my consciousness before, and then I was like, oh my, I've been living a lie.
Like, we feed off of each other. And,
right.
Hopefully that's the energy that we're emitting to you.
Yeah. Continue the conversation.
Right, and I want you guys to have the same conversation with each other.
Yeah.
And, say it to us.
Or have a conversation with us. Comment below.
Yes, comment below.
If you have any requests for anything that you want to hear us discuss, leave it down.
Let us know what you want to say.
Comments.
Keep us informed, because that's how we get better. And we want this as a service to you guys.
Exactly.
And if you want to know the type, because we read a lot, and that's how we, get some of our information and continue to grow. So if you want to know, those sort of things, tell us that too.
Definitely. We'll leave them in the description, especially the ones for this discussion.
So I think we can wrap up, yeah?
Okay. So remember, whether it's good,
it's bad,
or it's ugly,
we speak truth.